Part 15. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 141. Well, classes are suspended. This matter has caused quite a fuss. He might be in the library. I'll send him a message. I'll go to the library to find him. Then together, the three of them went to the library. There were security guards everywhere on campus. Wen Qi asked Xia Boding Hai for a library card, and the three of them swiped their cards and entered. Where is he usually? Don't he like reading detective books? Go read them. The detective books are on the third floor, next to the computer room. When passing the computer room, Wen Qiao saw there Wen Mo sitting in the corner. He was wearing headphones and staring at the screen with all his concentration. Wen Qi also saw it. Here it is. The three of them walked towards Wen Mo, and Wen Mo put his hand on the mouse. Wen Qi walked over and patted his shoulder. Wen Qiao leaned over and looked at Wen Mo with a smile. Let's watch a movie. When Wen Mo saw his sister, his eyes lit up and he nodded. Seeing the blood on Wen Kai's body again, his face suddenly darkened, and he pointed at the blood stains on Wen Kai's body. Wen Qiao smiled. It's okay, Wen Qi is saving people. Wen Mo was a little panicked, and Wen Qi put his arm around his neck. Okay, let's go home. The four of them walked to the lobby on the first floor of the library. Wen Qiao coughed. Well, I need to go to the bathroom. After saying that, she hurried inside, walked to the corner, and quickly ran to the third floor. She ducked into the computer room just now. The computer Xiao Mo used was empty. She hurried over, turned on the computer, and checked the browser. Trace. Movie player, as well as the card game that comes with the computer, Minesweeper game, nothing else, nothing unusual. Wen Qiao lowered his eyes. Did she guess wrong? Or is it that Xiao Mo doesn't want his online identity to be exposed? When she went downstairs, she thought, if it was Xiao Mo, maybe he had his own considerations. Although this child was silent, his mind was sensitive and delicate. If it wasn't Xiao Mo, then who would it be? Knowing that she was not Fu Nanli's girlfriend, he was still willing to help her tamper with the surveillance video. Was he really helping her, or was he planning to use her leverage to threaten her later? Wen Qiao breathed out. Outside the library, three people were waiting for her. She adjusted her mood and walked forward. Fu Nanli naturally stretched out his hand, thinking that she would come to him, but Wen Qiao directly took Wen Mo's arm. Let's go back home. Young Master Fu didn't look very good, and he didn't bother to do some psychological construction for himself. This was her brother. If you are jealous, you are jealous. The young master immediately took action and pulled the person to his side. Wen Qiao, huh? Something happened at school, and she wanted to take care of her Xiao Mo, fearing that he would be affected. Wen Qi said word by word, when my brother-in-law is here, you have to go straight to his arms. Are you sensible or not? Wen Qiao. Fu Nanli said that he can hug his younger brother. He is a family member, so he shouldn't taste it. The four of them left the school and got into the car. Wen Qi was the passenger, Wen Mo sat in the back seat with them, and Wen Qiao sat in the middle. Wen Qiao told Lu Yuyu that everything was fine here to reassure her. I received a message on my phone, from my mother Qiao. Your grandpa fell down. I have to go back. There are celery and beef dumplings in the refrigerator. If you can't, you can order takeout. I should be back soon. Wen Qiao was a little worried, so he called and learned that his grandfather did not fall badly and had no fractures. However, he was old and had high blood pressure and needed to be hospitalized for 2 days for observation. Only then did I feel relieved. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 142. Therefore, Fu Nanli, who sent them to the alley, had an excuse to break into the house. The house and yard are small, but lively and warm, and are kept clean and tidy. There is a small flower bed under the courtyard wall, a banyan tree in the yard, a persimmon tree and a ginkgo tree beside the wall. After all this fuss, it was already evening. Wen Qiao was hungry when she only ate half of her meal at Xiaotangshan before. "Shall I cook dumplings for you?" Wen Qi rolled up his sleeves. "I'll do it." "I'll come, you and Xiaomo go do your homework." Wen Qiao entered the kitchen, followed by Fu Nanli. Wen Qiao took out a large bag of dumplings from the freezer. "This is simple. You don't need your help. Just go and sit outside." He leaned against the old elm door. He had never cooked or washed his hands to make soup, so he didn't know where to start to help her. He just watched her. After watching too much, he should be able to do it. "Boil an egg." "Huh? Do you want some eggs?" "Cook it." Wen Qiao cooked a hard-boiled egg. After adding cold water to the big pot 3 times, the dumplings were cooked, and they were steaming. Her whole body was covered in the heat, and her beauty was more smoky. It touched his heartstrings and made people throb more than dusk. "Do you eat spicy food?" Fu Nanli frowned. "I won't eat." Wen Qiao mixed 3 sauces, a sesame oil dish, a vinegar dish, and a chili sauce, and carried them into the yard. Fu Nanli was not in a hurry to eat the dumplings. Instead, he picked up the egg, took Wen Qiao's hand, and pressed the egg on the bruise on her forehead. Wen Qiao's heartstrings moved, and it turned out that this was the purpose of boiling eggs. "Does it still hurt?" Wen Qiao shook his head. "Fortunately, it's not broken. It will be fine in 2 days." "Wen Qi, how did you do it?" "I hit it accidentally." "You didn't think you were in trouble because you thought something happened to me, did you?" "Dumplings can't stop your mouth, can they?" Wen Qi felt distressed and speechless. "Aren't you a very calm person? Even if something happens to me, don't be like this." "Shut up, nothing will happen." Fu Nanli gently rolled the egg on her bruises with his fingers. Reflecting the sunset, her pupils were amber, like glass. The thin green veins under her eyes were clearly visible, and her skin was like white glaze. Touching her chin, the touch was addictive. "As long as I'm here, nothing will happen. If anything happens, I will take care of it for you." This sentence is said lightly, but its weight is extremely heavy. Wen Qiao looked at him gratefully. "Thank you." After dinner, as dusk fell, Wen Qi was diligent and took over the dishwashing business. "Look in your bedroom." Wen Qiao then led Fu Nanli to her bedroom. It was a small room, but it was decorated warmly, with smoky pink sheets, plush toys lying on the bedside. The desk was full of books, and the white curtains fluttered in the wind. The setting sun fell on the floor, and the room was peaceful. He was too tall and couldn't turn around when he entered the room. Wen Qiao took out the music sheet on the table and wanted to introduce it to him. When she turned around, she was in the man's arms. The man leaned against the brown wardrobe and naturally put his arms around her waist. The wind blows the curtains, and the dim light flickers on his handsome face. Wen Qiao's heart skips a beat. "This is the top 10 pipa, The man sealed her lips. Like the charming male ghost she hides in the hut in the weird novel, it makes people's hearts beat faster. Trouble, oh trouble. Who says men can't be a disaster? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 143. When Emma was carrying a plate of cantaloupe cut into small pieces and was going to Wen Qiao's room, but when she pulled him back, "What are you doing?" When Emma was confused and pointed to the door of Wen Qiao's room. Brother-in-law definitely doesn't want us to disturb them. Leave them here and they will naturally come out to eat when they are thirsty. When Mo has always been immersed in his own world and has no understanding of the world, but when she knows a lot better than him. Moreover, he has often received confessions from female classmates at school, but he currently has no interest in this aspect. He just wants to join the club, stand on the international podium and win the grand prize. When Mo nodded blankly and sat at the table with fruit. In the end, he kissed her gently on the bruised forehead, and Wen Xiao's heart sank into a mess. Being trapped in the arms of a man, and the lingering affection in the room made her think about how fragile human will is, and it is always easy to indulge in pleasure. The park surveillance video still reached Uncle Lee's ears, and Uncle Lee suddenly became suspicious of his life. Is it possible that the little girl is really in love with their young master? Could it be that he really made a mistake? If it's true, then it's really thanks to the little girl that she didn't complain to him in front of his young master. Otherwise, with the way the young master dotes on the little girl, he would probably be kicked out 10,000 times. Back at school, the major clubs in the school are recruiting members in full swing. Because the president of the student union is Zhao Tong's cousin, Zhao Tong and Sulu successfully entered the student union, and Sulu and Zhao Tong also served as vice presidents of the piano club and cello club respectively. Finally, since the beginning of school, something happened that made Sulu feel proud. Zhao Tongel said, even though Wen Qiao made a big splash at the welcome party, the school's mainstream clubs still don't let her play. The big clubs such as the drama club and basketball club are almost all senior brothers and sisters from Western music who are the presidents. Folk music is not popular in the school at all, so if we can't form a group, oh, maybe the four of them in their dormitory can form a club, just for a small fight. You see, it's not you and Zhuangyan who are going to perform abroad. Wen Qiao wandered around and found that there was indeed no folk music club, so he became the king of the mountain and opened a folk music club. Yu, let's be the president. Yu is smooth talking, has strong management skills, and is good at socializing with people. Being the president is perfect. Lu Yu gave a symbolic gesture of humility. How can I be so virtuous and capable? The three of them unanimously elected her as the president, and Lu Yu had the ambition to ascend the throne and proclaim himself emperor. Don't worry, I will definitely carry forward our folk music club. Wen Qiao looked at Lin Xiang and Chen Xiao. Which one of you wants to be the vice president? Lin Xiang raised his eyebrows. I'm not good at it. Wen Qiao, then let's take Chen Xiao. Chen Xiao, Qiao, don't you want to be one? I'm more suitable to be an idle member. President, don't hold too many meetings. I don't like meetings. No problem. Yanjian school has a history of 100 years. Folk music was prosperous in the past, but then gradually declined. The school has an abandoned ancient building in the style of the Republic of China, which is full of folk music instruments, even chimes. There were no seats for the folk music club at the club recruitment office, so Wen Qiao and the others asked the school administrator for the key to the folk music building, planning to use it as their base camp. After cleaning up a room, I posted a post on the school forum to officially recruit members. For a time, all the students in the school were paying attention to the folk music club. Well, most people are just looking at it as a joke. The fourth update is completed. Please vote for recommendation. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 144. After all, most people in the folk music major want to change majors, and some have already successfully changed majors. It's amazing how talented this club can recruit. It was pouring rain outside, and the four people in the old building were sitting bored. Chun Xiao came over with snacks in his arms. Would you like some melon seeds? They taste like plums. Wen Qiao felt a little sleepy and reached out to take the melon seeds. I also ordered milk tea, which was delivered immediately. Lu Yuyu was a little anxious. It's been a day, how come no one has come to sign up? Not to mention signing up, no one has come to take a look. Wen Qiao said lazily, why are you so anxious? Stay calm. Lu Yuyu wandered around the room. How many people are waiting to see our jokes, especially Zhao Tong and Su Lu, maybe they are secretly laughing at us now. The table was a bit low, and Wen Qiao had nowhere to put his long legs, so he leaned directly on the corner of the table, lazily cracking melon seeds and watching the video. What do you care about them? Lu Yuyu was a little depressed. I just can't bear to see them gloating about their misfortune. Wen Qiao touched her head. Yuyu, we have to have a long-term vision and don't worry about success or failure in this short period of time. Lu Yuyu doesn't understand. She is indeed short-sighted and cannot be as calm as Qiao Qiao. She just wants to make Su Lu and Zhao Tong angry to death. If she doesn't make them angry to death, she herself will be angry to death. It rained outside all day, and the cool air started to appear. Because it was a rainy day, it was completely dark at 6 o'clock. All day long, no one patronized. Wen Qiao had been chewing melon seeds for a long time. His mouth was dry and he was a little angry. She clapped her hands. Let's go back first. The four of them held umbrellas and walked around half of the campus before returning to the dormitory building. On the narrow road, they happened to meet Zhao Tong, Su Lu, and two other girls they didn't know very well. When they meet on a narrow road, Zhao Tong is always the one who flirts first. The defeated general, look at the dejected look on his face. Don't be discouraged. If you can't recruit people for a day, just open for a few more days. Maybe some brainless person will suddenly lose his mind and join you. Wen Qiao put his hands in his pockets and said casually, so concerned about every move of our club. Could it be that you want to join us? Zhao Tong almost jumped up as if his tail had been stepped on. How could I degenerate and join you? What are you thinking about? Lu Yuyu, then why are you always staring at us? Is it that your student union is too busy, or that your cello department has too little coursework, or that you, Zhao Tong, have any special hobbies? Zhao Tong was so angry that he wanted to hit someone. Lu Yuyu, what nonsense are you talking about? Lu Yuyu took advantage of the victory and pursued her. If you continue to pay close attention to us, I will tell others mercilessly that Zhao Tong has something wrong with you. Zhao Tong almost took action, but was pulled by Su Lu and entered the dormitory building. Why are you arguing with them? The folk music club has opened for recruitment, and there is no one. It has become the laughing stock of the whole school. Why do you involve yourself and cause trouble? It's all fishy. Zhao Tong was filled with indignation. A group of defeated generals are still showing off in front of me. They really have no self-awareness at all. Su Lu comforted her. Okay, let's not be the same as them, lest we degrade ourselves. The next day was already a rainy day, just like Lu Yuyu's mood. God is so lucky to use the sad autumn rain to heighten our lonely mood. The door is deserted, the door is deserted. Wen Qiao was listening to music with headphones on. Song Hao had already found someone to write the lyrics for her new song, recorded a demo, and sent it to her for her to listen to. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 145. Song Hao has always respected her and valued her talents. Wen Qiao was also asked to give his opinion. Wen Qiao thought it was good. What Song Hao meant was that Shang Fan wanted these two songs and planned to release a Christmas limited EP on Christmas Eve. Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. He releases an album and an EP a year. He is worthy of being top-notch. A pair of feet suddenly appeared at the mottled and dilapidated doorway. The eager Lu Yuyu jumped up and went to meet her. Classmate, are you interested in our folk music club? The other three people also turned their eyes. Wen Qiao took off his headphones and looked at the boy standing at the door. The boy is less than 180 years old. He wears a black hooded sweatshirt with a hooded sweatshirt outside the peaked cap. He wears black overalls and black canvas shoes. The uppers are soaked by the rain, and there are water drops hanging on his eyebrows. He looks like a boy. A pretty boy who is delicate to the point of being feminine. Classmate, which department are you in? What's your name? Are you interested in our folk music club? Dong Yao, majoring in violin. Lu Yuyu's hopeful face suddenly turned cold. Without answering, Wen Qiao asked, do you want to join our folk music club? Yes. Why? Dong Yao frowned slightly. Why? Lu Yuyu said, it's a bit strange that you choose our folk music club to join the violin department out of the 3 most popular departments in Western music. Should I accept it or not? Just when Lu Yuyu was about to say no, Wen Qiao said, okay, you are welcome to join. Lu Yuyu. Dong Yao looked at Lu Yuyu, which of you is the president and who has the final say? Lu Yuyu immediately said, I am the president, I have the final say on small matters, and we, Qiao, have the final say on big matters. Dong Yao said, oh, is there anything else? It's okay for now. The boy came quietly and left quietly, like a shadow. Qiao, do you know who he is? Are you going to accept him? When Qiao peeled off a candy and threw it into his mouth, who is he? Dong Yao, the young master of the Dong family, their family is in the antique business. My grandfather is proficient in ancient medicine, and his mother is a forensic doctor. I heard that his hobby is anatomy. He originally wanted to take the medical school exam, but the elders in the family thought that he should study music. Gao Yat forced him to read Yang Yin. This young master is gloomy and withdrawn, the type that no one will take him to play with. If we accept him, he will not be able to help at all and he will be laughed at. Wen Qiao put the mango-flavored candy on his tongue and said, yes, that's good. Lu Yuyu? Wen Qiao looked at Lin Xiang and Chun Xiao, do you object? The two shrugged, no objection. As long as it's a human being, they don't pick. The second person came was a girl, wearing a navel-bearing outfit, a small leather skirt, knee-high boots, a high ponytail, smoky makeup, oversized round earrings, and chewing gum in her mouth. Lu Yuyu held her forehead. Could you please do something a little more normal, dear mother? The girl brushed the wet rain from her shoulders and blew a big bubble. Pop, the bubble burst and the chewing gum stuck to her lips. She put her tongue away and said lazily, I heard that people are accepted here. Lu Yuyu said feebly, what's your name, classmate, and which department are you in? Yushu, majoring in piano. Our small shrine is too small to accommodate your piano-playing Buddha. I think you guys are nice, you are easygoing, I like you. Wen Qiao said, okay, Yo-Yo, take her in. Lu Yuyu lingered on for a while, you have the largest piano department, so why did you condescend to join our small club? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 146. The old man insists on letting me play the piano. I hate that piano. I just want to make the old man angry. Yes, so straightforward. After seeing off the giant Buddha, Lu Yuyu was a little sad. The Yu family made a fortune in shipping during the Republic of China. I heard that pirates in the dangerous strait didn't dare to rob the Yu family's merchant ships when they saw them. Qiao, this eldest lady, she came from a bandit den. When Qiao spread his hands, you have personality, I like it. Lu Yuyu was about to cry but had no tears. Woman, you are playing with fire. Wen Qiao, there are now 6 people in our club. I feel like we are almost there. Lu Yuyu thought that no one else would come. Word spread quickly. The most heated discussion on the forum was the recruitment post for the folk music club. The title is sensational: Weirdo Alliance, huddle together to keep warm, folk music club is recruiting new members. When the ridicule came overwhelmingly from all directions. Wen Qiao and the others had dinner at the barbecue restaurant at the back door of the school. Dong Yao and Yu Shu were generous and came. It was raining lightly outside. Chun Xiao poured soju for them. It's our first meeting, let's have a drink. Everyone is here. But the atmosphere was just, not that good. Dong Yao was gloomy and didn't say a word. Yu Shu couldn't tell that he played the piano at all. He had a very hot temper and could drink 2 bottles of soju per person. Lu Yuyu struggled to deal with several people with different personalities, and was so tired that she almost died on the spot. After the dinner party, the president Lu Yuyu was a little drunk. Wen Qiao stopped at the door of the convenience store and said to Lin Xiang and Chun Xiao, "Take her back first, and I will buy a box of milk for her to sober up." When she bought milk and left the convenience store, she was blocked by someone. When she looked up, an unknown boy was standing in front of her holding a big black umbrella. "Excuse me," she said coldly. "I don't think you need to mix with such a group of weirdos," the man said to himself. Wen Qiao frowned slightly. "Who are you? If you want, you can definitely join the student union. You can choose from several popular departments of the student union." "Wen Qiao, I don't want to. Jugan is crisp and clean." The boy's face darkened. "Wen Qiao, do you have to let yourself down like this?" Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. "If you think this is self-destruction, yes, I especially like this kind of self-destruction." After saying that, he walked around the boy and ran towards the dormitory, muttering, "Who is this? It's inexplicable." The figure disappeared from sight, and a voice came from behind, "Brother, who are you talking to?" Zhao Tong and Su Lu appeared in front of the boy holding hands. The boy is Liang Chen, president of the Yanjian Student Union, and Zhao Tong's cousin. Liang Chen forced a smile. No one. He always judged people accurately and knew that Wen Qiao had great potential. If the school had to produce a representative student, Wen Qiao would undoubtedly be the most suitable. He was already a junior, and when he was a senior, the position of president of the student union would be handed over to someone else. The chosen candidate is Wen Qiao. Unfortunately, the little girl was so arrogant that she dismissed his olive branch. Of course he has a way to make the little girl compromise. Zhao Tong took Su Lu and walked to the dormitory together, naturally gloating and mocking the gathering of weirdos in the folk music club. Those are a few weirdos who are not accepted by popular clubs. The folk music club has become a garbage shelter. Gee, Wen Qiao still has this hobby. Su Lu felt a little proud. Even though Wen Qiao had gained some limelight at the beginning of the school year and had posed a certain threat to her when choosing the school beauty, the folk music department couldn't help but do, so this was a certainty. Everything Wen Qiao is doing now is in vain. The harder Wen Qiao worked, the happier she became, but it was all in vain. Thank you everyone for your tips. Please vote for recommendation. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 147. After feeding Lu Yuyu half a carton of milk, Wen Qiao went into the bathroom to wash her face. Lin Xiang leaned against the door and looked at her. "Are you just waiting for Dong Yao and Yu Shu to join the folk music club?" Wen Qiao patted his face with water, wiped it with a towel, and glanced at Lin Xiang. "How do you say this?" Lin Xiang raised his eyebrows. "Intuition, it seems that you recruited these 2 people from the beginning, and you seem to be convinced that these 2 people will join the folk music club." Wen Qiao shrugged. "I'm sorry, I can't tell you why I hired these 2 people." Lin Xiang curled his lips. "I'm not that curious either." In the end, emotion defeated reason, and Hejian still planned to leak to Mrs. Fu that Fu Nanli had a girlfriend. An abandoned daughter of the Wen family, and even if it is a daughter of the Wen family has no place in the upper class. If the family background is not suitable, the marriage will naturally not be happy. Mrs. Fu also comes from a famous family, so she understands this. Naturally, Hejian would not be stupid enough to go to Mrs. Fu and tell her face to face. After all, Mrs. Fu didn't like her very much and was suspected of talking about people behind their backs. But it is not difficult to leak this matter to Mrs. Fu's personal assistant. Within 3 or 2 days, Ye Mingkai received this shocking news. Where did the news come from? Assistant Zhou Weidao, it should be, the eldest lady of the He family, Hejian, came out. Hejian was cautious, but the people around Ye Mingkai were all human beings. After a little investigation, she naturally couldn't hide them. Ye Mingkai sat in the huge office, frowning slightly, and tapped the table with her fingers. It has relieved my worries for many years. Mr. Ye? What do you mean? To be honest, there are so many handsome guys around my son that I once really doubted his sexual orientation. Zhou Wei. Ahem, Mr. Ye, so you're not worried? Don't you want to know what the young master's girlfriend looks like? Ye Mingkai put down the pen in his hand. Well, I'm very curious about what kind of girl conquered my son who is as cold as a robot. This girl is really capable. Do I need to arrange for you to meet? Ye Mingkai shook his head, requesting a meeting rashly will make the girl think that I want to spend 5 million to make her leave my son. I'll ask my son first. As soon as Fu Nanli got off the plane, he received a text message from his mother, come back for dinner tonight. Thinking that he hadn't been back for more than a week, he changed into casual clothes and Lao Hu drove him to Fu's house. In front of the villa, Uncle Li came forward and opened the door. Master, dinner is ready. Your grandfather and mother are waiting for you. Fu Nanli straightened his sleeves and strode towards the dining room. Fu Huaiyang and Ye Mingkai were sitting on both sides of the long marble dining table in the dining room. Fu Nanli nodded to his grandfather. The old man sighed deeply. If your mother doesn't urge you to come back, you won't remember that there is a family here, right? Are you kidding? I have lived here for more than 20 years, how could I forget? Ye Mingkai served him a bowl of soup. Add snow pear. It's dry in autumn and moisturizes the lungs. Drink some. Ye Mingkai has never been a loving mother who cares about her children, so Fu Nanli was a little surprised by this act of serving soup and giving instructions. Throughout the meal, he could feel his mother's keen attention. Young Master Fu felt extremely uncomfortable eating the meal, and his brows were furrowed throughout the meal. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 148. The silver chopsticks patted on the table gently. I've finished eating, please use it slowly. Fu Huaiyang looked at him. Grandpa Fu Jiang's birthday is at the end of the month. You two will go with me. Ye Mingkai, okay dad. Fu Nanli, no time. Fu Huaiyang's face darkened. You are such a generous boy, how can you be absent from the birthday of an elder? Fu Jiang's branch is considered the closest Fu family branch to his grandfather. After all, he is his biological brother. I'm really not free. I'm going upstairs first, Grandpa. After saying that, he went upstairs. Fu Huaiyang patted his chopsticks. You bastard, you don't let me worry about anything. The company refuses to take over, and people don't want to deal with it. People say that I, Fu Huaiyang, have no successor, and Tian Huan will definitely be handed over to the hands of the collaterals. Ye Mingkai comforted him. I'll go up and train this kid. You. Come on, can you train him? Does he listen to you? Ye Mingkai smiled apologetically and hurried upstairs. After the flight, Fu Nanli rarely relaxed and had 2 drinks. Why don't you go to your second grandpa's birthday party? Fu Nanli's mandibular muscles were slightly stretched, and his expression was a bit gloomy. Yamingkai poured himself a glass, took a sip, and asked casually, "Is it because Fu Zhang bullied your little girlfriend?" Fu Nanli's hand holding the cup suddenly tightened, with a cold look in his eyes. Yamingkai lightly tooted, "Are you and your mother going to be so secretive?" Fu Nanli knew that the most important family in a wealthy family was that his brothers and friends were tight-lipped and would never reveal this matter to their elders. People from Dongchuan Airlines also had no chance to get close to his mother and grandfather. Except, He Qian. Wen Qiao said that He Qian liked him. So it was He Qian who leaked it? His eyes became even more gloomy. You investigated her. Yamingkai was non-committal. If you don't tell me, then I can only investigate a little bit on my own. Don't disturb her. Yamingkai tapped the table. Have we really talked about it? Yes. Yamingkai drank a glass of wine, his eyes shining a little. Why did you hide it from us? I don't want to get her into trouble. Yamingkai couldn't help rolling her eyes and pointing at herself. In your eyes, your mother is trouble. Fu Nanli glanced at her. You come from a famous family, and so does the Fu family. Don't you have any sense of family status in your consciousness? Yamingkai, I didn't. She was overjoyed that her son, who had been single for more than 20 years, was now willing to fall in love. Okay. No one cares about whether he is from a famous family. But the old man does. Yamingkai's expression darkened. Nanli was right, her father-in-law was not only there, but also deeply rooted. The Fu family was a famous family and would not allow an ordinary girl to become a mistress. So, if I hadn't stumbled upon this incident by chance, would you have planned to hide it for the rest of your life? Originally, I planned to wait until she reaches the legal age for marriage and get the certificate before telling you. Yamingkai clicked his tongue. If your father were half as willful as you, he wouldn't be. Realizing something, he didn't continue talking. Just know it if you know it. Don't tell the old man. Yamingkai, can I meet my future daughter-in-law? Cannot. Yamingkai almost threw the wine in the glass on her son's face. She told herself, I gave birth to him, I gave birth to him. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. At the same time, he slapped the table. Why not? It will unsettle her. Yamingkai was stunned. Not only did her son suddenly become enlightened about love, he also got on a rocket, and with a whoosh, his attainments reached the 9 heavens. This little girl must be seen. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 149. When Yamingkai went to Yanjian to find Wen Qiao, he was a bit sneaky. She is not afraid of her son, but she is worried about offending that boy. The boy is even more unwilling to inherit the position of Tianhuan's president. She will have to waste a few more years in that position. She has been fighting with the old foxes on the board of directors for so many times. Years are really enough. If you can, try not to offend that boy. When Yamingkai came down from the Maybach, 4 people from 502 lined up to buy milk tea at the milk tea shop at the back door of the school. Yamingkai revealed his identity. Lu Yuyu was shocked and pulled Wen Qiao aside. Qiao, let me tell you, if Fu Xiao's mother asks you to leave Fu Xiao for 5 million, you must not agree. If you marry him, you can divide up the Fu family's hundreds of billions of assets. 5 million is really a small amount of money. Don't be tempted by profit, do you hear me? In a street dessert shop, Wen Qiao and Yamingkai sat opposite each other at the table in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows. Wen Qiao was a little nervous and didn't know Mrs. Fu's intention, but she still said hello obediently. The first time Ye Mingqiu saw Wenqiao, she understood why her son could be recovered. Even if she is just interested in the skin, this little girl is qualified to seduce her Nanli's heart. It turns out that my son still values beauty. I feel more reassured and the credibility is very high. If the other person was ordinary, she would even suspect that her son was looking for a shield to hide his sexual orientation. Ye Mingqiu was used to meeting all kinds of people. The Ye family was powerful, and even after joining the Fu family and becoming MRS Fu, she was still rich and powerful. Normally, everyone would inevitably flatter her in front of her. But the little girl in front of her had her own unruly look in her eyes, but she was not too aloof to the point of carving the words hateful and rich on her face. The unique integrity of young people was a character she admired. Silent for a long while. Wenqiao only felt that the wife opposite was looking at her, sizing her up, testing her, but she did not speak, and the afternoon light gradually lengthened the shadows. It was Ye Mingqiu who spoke first. Actually, our Nanli was not as taciturn as he is now. Before his father passed away, he was a talkative child with a cheerful personality. His father's death was a watershed. Will it be tiring to get along with him if his personality takes a turn for the worse? Wenqiao shook his fingers, not expecting MRS Fu to say such words, and said seriously, "I won't be tired. He is very good, very good." Her eyes are sincere and touching. Ye Mingqiu smiled, "I have always been worried about him. After his father passed away, he sealed his heart. I once thought that he would never open his heart to anyone in this life. I am glad that he met you." Wenqiao's heart was hit hard. Is it luck? Or unfortunate? Heqian had been very anxious since she deliberately passed the news to MRS Fu. She waited for a few days for the news that MRS Fu went to find Wenqiao. She was shocked. Then what? The classic drama of wealthy families taking money and sending people away. Has it been staged? I heard that we had a great time chatting. A string in Heqian's heart broke and she couldn't believe it. We had a great conversation? Are you sure you heard me right? The bodyguard of Heqian's family looked solemn. MRS Fu and Wenqiao were talking at a dessert shop at the back door of Yanjian that day. Many people saw it. MRS Fu's attitude towards Wenqiao was very good. Heqian almost collapsed. How is this possible? How could MRS Fu like Wenqiao with her status? Thank you everyone for your tips, I'm grateful. Asking for recommendation votes. 3 updates in the past 2 days, because tree coding is very slow, and a lot of content needs to be checked for information. I want to pay more attention to quality, so I will save some manuscripts and resume 4 updates in a few days to compare my thoughts. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 150. Now, the only hope she can have is for Fu Nanli to regain his memory. She firmly believed that Wenqiao was not Fu Nanli's girlfriend at all, but she didn't know that the girl had the ability to forge records and seduce Fu Nanli. Everything will be ruined when Fu Nanli recovers his memory. Heqian also went to the hospital where Fu Nanli stayed in the car accident, found the attending doctor at the time, and asked about Fu Nanli's amnesia. I want to know, with that kind of amnesia, is it possible to recover memory? The doctor pushed up his glasses and looked solemn. I checked similar cases around the world and found that more than 70% of the patients recovered their memories later. Heqian felt relieved. It would be nice to be able to recover. But it's impossible to say with certainty at this time. Some may return to normal in a few months, while others may take decades. Heqian's eyes were firm. He is a very determined person. I believe that he will be able to recover his memory soon. The day when Fu Nanli regained his memory was the day when Wenqiao revealed his true form. She was waiting for that day to see how the liar would be cast aside by everyone and abandoned like a piece of shit by Fu Nanli. Fu Nanli naturally also received news that his mother was looking for Wen Qiao, and immediately called Wen Qiao. At that time, he had just finished flying to Helsinki. He was exhausted from the long journey and should have taken a nap on the sofa in the office, but he still couldn't bear to worry about her and hurried back to the apartment on Shuiying Road. Wen Qiao arrived first. He had the access card downstairs, and she also had the door code upstairs. She also bought some ingredients and cooked dinner for him. She knew everything, but she was not very talented in cooking. She made borscht according to the recipe, and the carrots were cut into pieces that were too ugly to look at. The appearance was a little off, but she took a bite and found that the taste was at least okay. The kitchen was buzzing, and she didn't even hear the door close. When the man put his arm around her waist from behind, she felt like she had long been accustomed to his height, body temperature, and physical contact. This kind of physical habit and dependence, the most difficult to resist. Cooking. Well, okay, just one dish. I just learned it. I will learn more in the future, You don't need to learn, there are servants. He reached out to turn off the fire and pulled the person into the living room. Wen Qiao saw that he looked a little tired and heard that an extra route had been opened to Helsinki in Finland. Finland is close to Iceland, so domestic tourists choose to fly to Finland and then transfer to Iceland. There is also a new captain in Munich, and his workload is much greater than before. You should have had a rest there when you arrived at the airport. Why did you come back in such a hurry? Fu Nanli stretched out his hand and pressed his eyebrows. My mother is looking for you, right? Wen Qiao considered whether he should say it or not. What did she tell you? Obviously he had received the exact information, and there was no need to hide it. Your mother is very good, let me treat you well. It does break people's inherent stereotypes about wealthy families. Fu Nanli was obviously relieved and reached out to rub the top of her hair. Even if someone comes out and says something unpleasant, don't take it to heart, you know. Wen Qiao nodded, okay. The next day, Fu Nanli, who had a rare day off, took Wen Qiao to Xiaotangshan. Fu Chengzhan said he had a new bottle of good wine and invited everyone to taste it. In the private room, Fu Nanli and Wen Qiao arrived late, but there were still so many people at the table. Fu Cheng, Fu Chuan, He Jun, He Yan, and Fu Nanli, Wen Qiao.